The turquoise waters of Punta Cana glitter under the Caribbean sun, beckoning millions of tourists each year to its pristine shores. But beneath this postcard-perfect paradise lies a disturbing mystery that continues to haunt investigators, family members, and fellow travelers alike. What happened to 20-year-old Sudiksha Konanki in the early morning hours of March 6, 2025? In our previous episodes, we've explored two possible explanations: a tragic drowning accident in treacherous waters, and the suspicious circumstances surrounding Joshua Riibe, the last person known to have seen Sudiksha alive. Today, we examine compelling new evidence suggesting that drowning may not be the answer, and that time is running out to find the truth. Sudiksha Konanki, a bright, ambitious University of Pittsburgh student, arrived at the Rybe Republica resort in Punta Cana with 5 college friends for what should have been a carefree spring break. Security footage captured her final known moments, walking to the beach with former Iowa high school wrestling champion Joshua Riibe at 4:15 a.m. after a night of dancing at the resort's club. What happened next remains one of the Dominican Republic's most baffling mysteries. When Sudiksha failed to return to her room, her worried friends initially thought little of it. Perhaps she was still enjoying the beach or had fallen asleep elsewhere in the resort. But as hours passed with no sign of her and no response to calls and messages, concern grew. By 4 p.m. on March 6, they reported her missing to hotel staff, triggering what would become a massive search operation. Dominican officials quickly suggested drowning as the most likely explanation. But private investigators and ocean experts now argue this theory doesn't hold water. An accidental drowning seems unlikely. The water wasn't rough that night, no high tide, and no rip currents, so she likely wasn't simply swept away, investigator Toby Braun told DailyMail.com. Keeping focus on her likely being alive increases the chances of finding her. Professor Stephen Leatherman, an earth and environment expert at Florida International University known as Dr. Beach, finds the drowning theory particularly implausible given the time that has passed. If she drowned, her body should have already surfaced in the warm Caribbean waters, he explained. I have served as an expert witness for 30 years, so I have been involved in many cases where someone drowned in a rip current, but the body was always recovered. I think that there must be another explanation for her disappearance. Dominican Navy Vice Admiral Agustin Murillo Rodriguez suggested Konanki's body might be trapped on coral reefs, prompting Navy and local divers to search these areas. But Leatherman dismissed this theory, explaining that the distance from shore to the reef, nearly 2,000 feet, makes this scenario pretty remote. The professor also noted that bodies in warm Caribbean waters typically surface quickly due to natural decomposition processes that create gases within the body. She's not sitting on the bottom somewhere, that's for sure, he stated. Could sharks be responsible for the missing body? Leatherman says this is equally unlikely. Tiger sharks stay in the deeper water offshore, he explained. We call tiger sharks denizens of the deep because they don't come in shallow water unless they smell blood. The only plausible way for Sudiksha's body to remain undiscovered, according to these experts, would be if she was taken out to sea on a boat and thrown overboard, a disturbing possibility that points to foul play rather than accident. The spotlight has naturally fallen on Joshua Riibe, the 22-year-old former Iowa high school wrestling champion who was the last person seen with Sudiksha. Security footage shows them walking to the beach together at 4:15 a.m., with Rybe's arm around Konanki's back. Rybe's account of what happened next has raised eyebrows among investigators. He claims they went swimming in waist-deep water, where they talked and kissed a bit before a large wave hit them both and swept them out to sea. I realized she was getting tired of swimming too. I've been a lifeguard. I grabbed her and pulled her out. I held her under my arm and swam to get her out of the water, he told investigators. According to Rybe, he managed to reach shore with Sudiksha, who was knee-deep in water when he last saw her. When I finally reached the ground on the beach, I held her in front of me. She wasn't out of the water, she was knee-deep and walking at an angle out the water, he recounted. The last time I saw her, I asked if she was okay. I didn't hear her reply because I started vomiting all the water I had swallowed. After vomiting, I looked around. I didn't see anyone. I thought she had grabbed her things and left. He claims he then passed out on the beach and didn't hear anything about Konanki until the next day when her friends texted his friend. Security cameras captured Rybe, barefoot and shirtless, returning to his room alone at 8:54 a.m. There was no sign of Sudiksha. While Dominican authorities have not named Rybe a suspect, he remains under round-the-clock police surveillance in the resort and has refused to answer several critical questions during investigations, citing advice from his lawyers. His family explains the inconsistencies in his statements as the result of different translators being present during his 3 police interviews. They insist he has been detained under irregular conditions and subjected to questioning without official translators or legal counsel until March 12. Joshua Riibe is deeply dismayed by her disappearance and has fully cooperated in the search and clarification of the facts from the very beginning, his family stated. But would someone with nothing to hide refuse to answer basic questions about such a serious matter? When asked if he could verify his statements, what he told his friend, if Konanki knew how to swim, if she made any cries for help, if he told authorities what happened on the beach, and how he feels about the situation, his response was the same: "My lawyers advise me not to answer that question and I follow their advice." Despite these concerns, those who know Rybe defend his character. His next-door neighbor Laurel Shriver told DailyMail.com, "I've known Josh since he was a young boy. There is no way he would harm her or have anything to do with her disappearance. I bet my life on it, Josh did not hurt that girl." What makes Sudiksha's case even more disturbing is that it follows a pattern of tourists vanishing or dying in Punta Cana's deceptively dangerous waters. Just weeks earlier, on January 17, 2025, 4 tourists drowned at Playa Arena Gorda near the Rio Republica Hotel despite red flags warning of dangerous conditions. The victims included 47-year-old Marcin Teodor Czasinski and 52-year-old Sylwia Alexandra from Poland, 67-year-old Portuguese tourist Nelson Nunes Ribeiro, a recently retired primary school teacher who had just become a grandfather, and 54-year-old Jakub Tomasz Pedziak. 2 others struggled against the current but ultimately survived. Following these tragedies, the Emergency Operations Center imposed restrictions along the coastal perimeter based on recommendations from the Dominican Institute of Meteorology. But were these measures enough? Some local property owners raised concerns about inadequate safety measures, particularly the absence of lifeguards on these beaches despite the high fees they paid for access to the complex. According to the Dominican Republic Coast Guard, Punta Cana's coastal waters feature some of the strongest underwater currents in the Caribbean basin, reaching dangerous speeds of 4 to 5 knots, particularly during storm season. These powerful forces can overwhelm even experienced swimmers within moments. Forensic psychiatrist and expert witness Carol Lieberman believes Dominican officials were quick to blame drowning to deflect blame away from the tourism industry. The Dominican Republic does not want to take responsibility for people who go missing, she stated, comparing Sudiksha's case to that of Natalie Holloway, who disappeared in Aruba in 2005 and whose killer confessed 18 years later. Private investigator Toby Braun agrees that a more sinister explanation is likely. She didn't just run away. She was in a foreign country with no known reason to disappear, making this scenario highly unlikely, he said. Braun notes that Interpol has issued a yellow notice for missing persons, and the FBI has become involved in the case, signs that murder or abduction haven't been ruled out. The FBI stepping in is a major move. Their presence ensures a proper investigation, he explained. If she was taken, human is a real concern. The Dominican Republic has one of the largest networks in the Caribbean. Government officials have stated the search will continue at full intensity through at least Sunday. But with each passing day, hopes of finding Sudiksha alive diminish. For travelers planning trips to Punta Cana or similar coastal destinations, Sudiksha's story serves as a sobering reminder that paradise comes with risks that shouldn't be underestimated. The pristine beaches will continue to draw tourists with their beauty, but beneath that beauty lies a power that demands respect and caution. As we await further developments in this heartbreaking case, one question remains: will Sudiksha Konanki ever be found, or will she join the ranks of travelers whose fates in paradise remain forever unknown? Understanding potential risks in destinations isn't about spreading fear but empowering travelers through awareness. Simple precautions: maintaining awareness even in luxury resort settings, avoiding being alone especially at night, and exercising healthy skepticism toward overly friendly strangers, can significantly reduce vulnerability without diminishing the travel experience. For the bright young student who disappeared on what should have been a carefree vacation with friends, we continue to seek answers. Whether those answers will be found in the challenging currents, the suspicious circumstances surrounding Joshua Riibe, or in more concerning situations remains to be seen. What's certain is that Sudiksha's story deserves to be told, her case deserves resolution, and the lessons from her disappearance may help protect others who follow in her footsteps to the beaches that remain both breathtakingly beautiful and worthy of mindful awareness from every traveler.
If you enjoy deep dives into true crime, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Until next time, friends!